yourself, you're in danger of falling into a pit. It will be good if, like Joseph, when he was put into a pit, what was there? His dreams is put into a test, right? Because Joseph was dreaming that the stars will bow down to him, the sun and the moon included. That includes father and mother. And so when he was put into the pit, that dream was put into a test. So it will be good that if our own pit that we have made will put a test into the dreams we have. Do you continue to keep dreaming? So we must be dreamer, no? Continue on to dream. However, let's be careful with self-pity as a pit. Though it may be a way of testing our dreams and our life to make it possible for us to be checked and be corrected. This morning, our study is entitled Understanding God's Purpose for Sin Problems in Our Life. Last Tuesday, the problems leads to self-pity. Why do you pity yourself? Because of the problems, right? So be aware that in the possible turnabouts of problems in our life, it will lead us into pitying ourselves. Ay, kawawa ako. Ano man? I have a problem. What's your problem? Wala akong bugas. Naubos na ako ng pamasahe. Sabi sa isang atin, sinuubos na pamasahe niya, balik-balik sa PRC. So, that will include realizing that those problems that comes our way last Tuesday would lead us into a situation where we are making our own pit, that is the self-pity. This morning, we will consider understanding God's purpose. We have to understand the purpose why God has sent these problems into our life. If you could not understand it, it will lead you into self-pity, right? So if you understand the problems, first realize that if it is God who sent the problems, do you realize that it is God who sent the problems? Where does our problem came from? Minsan sa self mo, kay basic ka. It created the problem. Saan ang problem galing? Realizing that God is a good God, problems does not come from Him. Problems are the byproduct of our weaknesses and shortcomings. Mag-cramp up, mag-create some problems. However, God being a good God, problems doesn't come from Him, but problems may be permitted by the Lord, or problems may be, anong tawag na screen, no? Na screen, sinasala. So everything that comes your way will be screened by the Lord. So, kinangayagan gani, many a times gina-screen sa mga construction workers, pag masira na, maglusot ang dako nga bato. However, ang screen sa Panginoon, He screen it in such a way na pag lumusot yung problem, it is with a purpose. Now, yan na. You have then to understand if God has sent the problem, He has a purpose. And our part is to understand the purpose. If we cannot understand the purpose, magka-problem ka, magbalik ka sa self-pity. Okay? Kuha nyo? Now, kadali ng ating ng monitorer. Sabi niya mahaba ang introduction. Okay, let's read. Ano yan? Passage. Romans 8:25-29. Okay. Let's read all together. Hindi, begin.
But if we look forward to something we don't yet have, we must wait patiently and confidently.
Confidently.
And the Holy Spirit help us in our weakness. For example, we don't know what God wants us to pray for, but the Holy Spirit pray for us with groaning that cannot be expressed in words. And Father, who knows all hearts, knows what the Spirit is saying. For the Spirit pleads for us believers in harmony with God's own will.
And
We know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose for them.
For
God knew His people in advance, and He chose them to become like His Son, so that His Son would be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters.
Okay, so sa introduction natin, if God permits the problem, He screens it in His hands and permit it to pass through, He will use it because He knew His people in advance and He chose them to become like His Son. That's the purpose. That those problems will be instrument of sabi sa verse 28, and we know that God causes everything. He will use the problem to cause good work, develop good work in us, because His purpose is those who love Him will be taken care of. Okay? Tingnan natin ang introduction. So, sabi ko kanina, if we have to understand the purposes of God, you understand that the problems was purposely sent by the Lord. He being a good God, He doesn't mean to send the problem with a bad purpose. So, maayong purpose. So, because maayo, you have to make friends with the problems in your life. Kaibigan. Ano na? Kaibigan.
Kaibiganin.
Maging kaibigan mo ang problems. Magiging friend mo ang problem. Kaibiganin mo ang problem. Make friends with the problems in your life. Gusto mo? Do you like? How many of us would say, problem, come here. I'm your friend. Or many natin, problem, layuan mo ako. Di ba? Sa ano lang sa expression mo. Pag ang problema, magalit ka, di ba? Many times when you have a problem, buwisit na problema to. So that is, in other words, being indifferent to the problems and then making problems your friend. You know, ang sa understanding, it is in a way, if we make friends with the problems that God has permitted, because ang atin reason, ang logical reason is it comes from God. Problem comes from God, and He being a good God would send the problem for our good, so that if you make friends with your problems, there will be a good result. Ano man, sabi dyan, although many things feel random and wrong, problem you feel it is wrong, di ba? Sino nasabi nga ang problem hindi wrong? Problems are actually problems because they are created from wrong at the start, and wrong, so many things feel random and wrong. Remembering that God is sovereign over everything, He being a sovereign God can cause that something that which is wrong, is a problem. God will see to it in His sovereignty, will cause it to become good. So sabi diyan, God can fit everything into a pattern for good, but only to the extent that you trust Him. So kanina, if you make your problem your friend, you are just saying that I am trusting the Lord. Diba? So kung pala na siya, if you befriended your problem, you are saying I am trusting the Lord. Kung ang problem kaibigan mo ay your enemy, you consider your problem your enemy, and you know that it comes from God, you are not trusting the Lord. Di ba? The logic is there. Because problem comes from Him, and you are making friends with the problems, that is one way of saying, I am trusting the Lord. I trust in Him. Wapo ka logic, no? Okay, let's come to number 1. Problem as our sculpturing instrument. Ano ba ina? Yes, problems are wrong, bad, but God sent it, this bad thing that we consider as a problem. When God permits that, pass that into His hand and send it to us, God will use problem as a sculpturing instrument. Nakita ko sang ice ba? Sa ka-black na ice. In the hand of a sculptor, lumabas yung eagle. Excess nga ice block, chisel niya. So, problems could be a sculpturing instrument where the excess of us, na bad, will be taken away. So, understanding number 1. Let us understand that problem, when permitted by the Lord, not all problem, it is only when permitted by the Lord, as we face it in our life, will become a sculpturing instrument. Understand that way. We understand that it comes from Him. He being a good God, let's befriended our problem, and then we befriended our problem because problems becomes our sculpturing instrument to get the excess. Kasi ang ice nga black, wala picture, no? Pero kung in the hand of a sculpturing sculpture is ilang gwapo nga tao, magaling na tao ng sculpture, lalabas yung ice. Kunin yung mga excess na parts ng ice. And number 2, problems as a blocking stone. Kanina, ano itong problem? Problem as instrument of sculpturing, as pagkapuhon ka, in other words, i-redefine ang life mo. You have not understood your life. Ano yung purpose man? When the problem comes in, it will comes out na lalabas yung i-define ka. Kanina ay isang black, lumabas yung eagle. Kanina hindi mo intindihan yung buhay mo kung ano. When problems comes in, lalabas kung sino ka. However, problems could be a blocking stone. How will the problems become a blocking stone? Sabi kanina dyan, the very same problem used as sculpturing instrument can become a stumbling block over which you fall. So we need to understand this. How do you make your problem as an instrument to design? What do you want? Make your problem your friend. Oh. Dito kanina ngayon problem, if you will not make it your friend, it will become a stone of stumbling block. So sabi dyan, if you react with distrust and defiance, how can you, in other words, make your problem a stumbling block? Paano? Problem comes, it will become a stone of stumbling. It will become a stumbling block if you distrust God. And defiant. Ano ganun defiant? Lumalaban ka. Nag-resist na words, you are resisting God's purpose and plan. So, the choice is up to you. You have, after understanding, there is a choice to be made. The choice is up to you. You will have either to choose, many a times it's daily, to trust God or defy Him. When problem comes, will you say, I want to trust the Lord? Or when problem comes, you'll say, I will defy Him. I won't accept. I resist. So when you face problem and accept and trust the Lord, you are making the problems as sculpturing instrument. However, when problems you face, you defy and resist the problems, you are making the problem as a stumbling block. So, the same problem can be a source of an instrument with the Lord, or the same problem can be a stone that you will stumble. And when you stumble, you fall. And when you fall, you will have a damage, a bukol. Hindi na maalam kung bukol. Dalo ka pa sa ospital. Okay, number 3. Rendering problems to become your friend. How do you render the problem to become your friend? The best way to befriend your problems is to thank the Lord. Oh, kanina sabi ko, to befriend your problem is to trust God. Now another is to befriend your problem is to thank Him. Not only to trust the Lord, you have also to thank Him. Di ba ako tagaan ka? Salamat na. In other words, when you say thank you Lord for the problem, you are anticipating that there will be a good result as an outcome of the problem that enters into your life. Tama? Puwing ang problem. But when the problem comes in and you thank the Lord and trust Him, you are rendering the problem to become your friend. And friend, do it good, it does good. So this is a simple act that opens our mind to the possibility and the benefits flowing from your difficulties. In other words, when you are thanking God for the problem, the possibility is that there will be benefits flowing. The river, there will be flowing from that problems, benefits from the difficulty. Di ba? In every difficulty, you will be benefited. Sa kung ano ang difficulty? Carrying a load. Ano benefits mo kung mag-carry ka ng load? Di bata pa nga, hindi ka lakaw. So, ano mo siya, i-carry mo siya. O kay Gabriel, di sa kalakaw. So, you have to carry him. What benefits do you have? If you befriend that problem, thank God for that problem, there will be a flowing benefits. Ano ang benefits sa mag-flow? Oy, hello. Hello, nandiyan pa kayo? Ano ang benefits mag-flow? Simple lang yun ako. Sample ang problem mo, wala kang gripo. Ang gripo hanggang sa layo. So, ako to ng tubig, di ba? You have to carry the water. Problem mo nung, uy. But if you befriend your problem and thank God for the problem, what benefits you will have as a result? Ha? Oh, tama niya mo. May mag-develop ang iyong muscle. Pa-surprise ka. Salamat sa problem. Na-develop ang iyong muscle. So, that is shooting the bird, no? 2 birds in 1 shot. 1 bullet. Di ka na makanto sa gym. Diba? When you face the problem and thank the Lord for the problem and face your problem, you don't have anymore to spend magpa-shape sa imong katawan. Nandun na. God used the problem to shape your muscle. Mauna siya ang ginasabi dyan. No? So actually, it is for us to discover that there are possibilities of benefits flowing. May mag-flow na benefits. As long as you face the problem, thank God for the problem, and trust God. You are trusting God for giving you the problem. Now, example lang na siya, no? So, every problems that you have, iba-ibang problem, we have to, in understanding this, you have to realize there are benefits flowing. Okay, number 3, number 4. We have to develop, there is a development of persistent problems to become familiar to you. Now, ano ni ang develop persistence? What do we mean by this? Ang persistent, yun ang problem ba nga natawag nila recurring, yun ang nagabalik-balik. Nagabalik-balik ang problem. Ito, ang logic, no? If God sees the problem, He has a purpose in you. Example, sabi niya, gusto ko ni i-develop ko ang muscle. Sabi niya, magka-develop siya ng muscle. Recurring. Nagabalik-balik siya. Ano ibig sabihin? Labi gyapon ang muscle, hindi pa na-develop ang muscle. Nag-develop siya pero flabby pa ba? Hindi pa na-attain ang, ano nga sabi nila? 6 packs of abs. 6 packs pa lang. 2 packs pa lang. Or 1 pack pa lang. 4 packs pa lang. Gusto mo nga, kung gusto sa Panginoon nga i-develop na siya, so mag-recurring. Balik-balik, pabalik-balik. Develop persistent problem to become familiar to you. So, anong purpose sa development? When the problem is recurring, pabalik-balik siya, maugot ka no, di ba? Si Satan nag-pray siya na nga pabalik-balik. Na siya ba? Natubuan na siya sungay. Ay, balik-balik man. Pero on the other hand, pag balik-balik ang problem, may gawin ka para hindi ka maugot. May purpose pala siya. In the recurring problem, you should become familiar with your problem. And when the result of familiarity, hindi ka na matakot, di ba? Kung familiar ka na sa problem, karanas ako to. Magiging testimony pa to siya. Ay, hindi, tama. Ma-encourage mo pang iba. May passage sa Bible, si Peter, ginparanas ka, you were given this experience so that ahead of others, so that after experiencing them and being victorious to them, you will encourage others. So nag-una ka ba? So God is assigning others to be the leaders, no? You will experience same problem, and when this happens to others, you are there to encourage them. Tapos na, nagyan ko na. However, in you, kung wala sa may nag-una, dapat ang problem develop familiarity. When to the recurring problem, sino nagbalik-balik kung nakadevelop ka sa familiarity, ang result, when they appear, pagbalik ay kaluhay nga balik, instead nga kulbaan ka, ang purpose sa Satan, tagaan ka problem para pakulugon ka ba? Para magluya ka. Pero kung nakadevelop ka sa familiarity, kawalan mo ng problem. Tapos na. Hindi na ako mapurog sa imo. I am familiar with you. So, familiarity rather than dread. Hindi ka na matakot. Tama na siya. Ha? Wala pong na-understanding sa problem na. Problem nga nagabalik-balik. Wala naman bugas. Wala naman bugas. Ano naman? Wala naman change. Wala naman kumbarya. So, kung nakafamiliar ka na sa iyong problem na pabalik-balik, pag sinuwala naman bukas, nakaagin ako sila. I'm not anymore dreadful to it. Develop ka na sa familiarity. Okay? Number 5 and the last. We have to introduce problems. Mayroon ka problem na mag-dread sa imo, masyado ka bigat. Anong reason? You have not introduced your problem to the Lord. I-introduce mo siya. Do tao ba? You introduce your problems to God. So, ito, after making problems your friend, ito isa kanina, no, we are to develop understanding to our problems. So, usually, at the outset, problems are problems. And our facial expression will problem. However, when you understand that God sent the problem,